Yo, it's your boy Jay Best and Logan McDougald, and welcome back to the Straight to the Point podcast, season 2, episode 8. On today's episode, we will be doing our Thursday night football reaction, followed by our week 3 reaction, and then Logan's going to give us his top 5 current teams, not players, like I said last time, his current teams. All right, and then I'm gonna let Logan revive a team that I said was dead on my last episode. We'll talk about that in a little bit, and then we'll end with our week 4 picks. How's that sound, Logan?
Sounds good to me.
All right. As always, we want to thank God for waking us up this morning, allowing us to talk about sports, which is something that we love to do. And without Him, we would not be here right now. So let's go ahead and get straight to the point. Thursday night football, the Lions did defeat the Packers 34-20. Logan, I'm pretty sure we both picked the Lions, right? Yeah, we both picked them. All right. So were you surprised by the kind of game it was?
I was surprised that the Packers came out so slow on a primetime game at home. Um, but I wasn't really surprised about the result. With the Packers still had Jair Alexander and David Bakhtiari out. Those are two huge key losses on that team. Still think they probably lose that game the way it looked without those guys. Definitely would have made some more plays. But the Lions came in, punched them straight in the mouth, and it took them until probably a little late in the third quarter to kind of respond. And by that time, the game was over because if you get behind deep with the Lions and that O line, that running game, good luck. I think that showed um, the style of football Detroit wants to play and the kind of games that they want to get you in, and that's a physicality game. And I think that speaks to Dan Campbell and some of the guys they have on that team. And that O line, if Jared Goff's protected, he'll pick you apart. Um, the lines look good. I will say that I am liking what I'm seeing from Jordan Love. He's looking kind of how I thought this Packer teams would look at the early of the year when you had them pretty low on your pyramid, and I thought they needed a little bit more respect.
Yeah.
They still have a buttload of guys. I mean, defensively, they got stars all over the place. They got dudes that can play and fly around. Yes, they got beat today, but I mean, they're going to be fine. The Detroit Lions are a really good team this year. And then young receiving core, tight end, two good backs, O line that's kind of been banged up. Packers going to be okay. I don't know about playoffs, but I know by the end of the year they will be able to play meaningful games to where if they do pull off some things that they might be um, in the wild card race due to the poor NFC conference. Um, but this looks like the Lions division. It's the reason I picked them to win that division. Um, Thought they were going to come in like they've looked, and they have. They're good, and looks like they're here to stay, and they're here to prove a point also as well.
Oh yeah, you are 100% right, and I was wrong. Right, I picked the Vikings to win this division because I thought they had that rapport. I thought they was the only team that kind of kept their core together. Right, everybody else is trying to get better or is just arriving on the scene. So I thought the Vikings kind of had this division by default, but I was clearly wrong. And tonight we found out that it's the Lions division. Okay, I mean last night. Sorry, we found out it's the Lions division. I think it's over with. Right, and I am the for the first couple weeks, I was preaching, do not overreact. Don't do it. But I've seen enough to this point. Okay. The Packers, I'm sorry, the Lions, they smell blood, right? Aaron Rodgers is King of the North is gone. Aaron Rodgers is gone, right? So they went to Lambeau saying, look, let's show them this is our division now. Okay. And they did that. And it's the way they won tonight is what really got me, right? They'd have won a tight game. I said, okay, they'll see y'all again in Detroit, right? But like you said, they came and they punched them in the mouth. They showed them that this is their division. Uh, just look at on the ground, David Montgomery, right? I think going into this year, we all talked about Jameer Gibbs being that lead back, being that guy that's going to be they almost like an Alvin Kamara for them, right? But David Montgomery had 32 carries, 121 yards, and 3 touchdowns, right? And it goes to what you just said. When they get up, they're gonna run the ball on you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
No,
So you can't fall into a hole with this team. So I think the division is won because they did this in Lambeau. I don't think the Packers are going to Detroit and gonna beat them, right? And then the Vikings and the Bears, they're out of it. They're done. Yeah, I think just and not even because of their record, but it's the way they look in general. I think they're done. So the Lions definitely made a statement tonight. Went into Lambeau, into your house, right? Went in and knocked your lamps over, kicked their feet up on your coffee table, watched your TV, ate your food, used your toothbrush. That's what they did. So tonight was very convincing. Everything I needed to know. This Lions team is better than I thought. I thought they was gonna be here, right? I did have them going to the playoffs, but I think I had them losing first round. But they might be a little better than that. They might be kind of like you said. They might be able to get a win in the playoffs. Huh?
I had them winning the game in the playoffs.
Yeah, yeah. I think you was right. I thought that they would get there, but like I said, not their time yet. But um, tonight definitely showed that this is their division, and they gonna have home field. That's the thing. I had them playing on the road in round one, right? They gonna have a home game in
Yep.
round one, and I'm praying for whoever that wild card team is. I don't think you're gonna be able to beat them at home, especially with that crowd. Um, just being there again. It's been a long time since
Yeah.
they've been. Yeah,
Long time.
long time. So let's go ahead and get to our week 3 reaction. So Logan, we saw a lot in week 3. We saw. I'm pretty sure you want to talk about the Dolphins, right? I'm pretty sure you want to talk about the Cowboys, right? I'm pretty sure you want to talk about how the Chargers barely escaped. We've been talking about Brandon Staley all year, barely escaped. So go ahead and hit us with your week 3 reaction.
I think the first and most obvious, I think, is the Miami Dolphins scoring 70 points.
Yeah.
That is absurd. And it's the Broncos defense is bad, but regardless, scoring 70 points against an NFL football team and your backup quarterback still throwing a touchdown pass on their starting on pass, like the Dolphins are dangerous. And it's kind of to the point to where I didn't have them making the playoffs because I didn't know if Tua could play a full 17, and we'll still see. I hope he can. Um, when Tua's healthy and they get Jalen Ramsey back at the end of the year, I can say this about the Dolphins: no team is going to be excited to see that Dolphin on their schedule. They
Mm-hmm.
are terrifying to play against, and
Yeah.
with Vic Van, the coordinator, um, you got Phillips, Bradley Chubb, and Wilkins, and then good pieces all around that balance the defense out pretty well. And then 70 points, 70 in the NFL. Um, I kind of wish they kicked the field goal. I know you try to be respectful, but when you have 7-0 already on the scoreboard, it's kind of like, what the heck? Just go ahead and kick it at
Yeah.
that point.
Yeah, I know you
I'm
heard
just
what Tua said. We're not trying to embarrass anybody or whatever. It's too late.
already did.
Yeah,
Like,
you
it's
got to
like
score 70. Yeah.
56 in the NFL, like up there. That's still embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
Needless to say, 70, just kick the field goal, get the record. It's not.
Yeah.
Um, Yeah, Brandon Staley always likes to get attention. You are the fact that he went for that and didn't
Yes.
get it and won the game.
Yes. 4th and 1 on the
What?
24. Not
Their
the
own?
and for those of y'all that didn't watch the game, not the 24 going in. We're talking about the 24
No.
going the length of the field. Right? 4th and 1, 2 minutes left, you're up by 4, and you went for it.
Yeah, that was atrocious. Don't know what he was thinking. He got lucky because if
Very.
they lose that game, um, oh wow,
I think he's gone for sure. Like he had to be.
could very well say he's the next loss he has, especially if it's an ugly one. So he Brandon Staley strikes again, I guess. Before I talk about the Cowboys, I'm going to put a little bit of respect on the Arizona Cardinals. They are playing and they are competing every game that they've played so far this year with a roster no one is scared of. And I think that has an attest to Jonathan Gannon and what he's doing in Arizona. And I think as an Arizona fan, you can be happy about the future because kind of how Dan Campbell has turned Detroit into. I'm not saying it's going to happen in Arizona, but the way and the fire that they play with, knowing that they're unmatched personnel wise every game, I love it.
I feel you.
I don't think the Cowboys lost that game. I think the Cardinals went out there and won it. That's my opinion. Watching that game, if you if you watch that game with a blind eye and you just saw two teams with a black jersey and a white jersey, you would think the Cardinals were the better team. You would
Yeah,
think that.
I
There
agree.
was a point where I thought the Cowboys were playing better than the Cardinals. So I think I thought it was going to be a dumpster fire. I thought they would trade everyone. Joshua Dobbs is balling. Love it for that guy. He's been a journeyman so far, and he's playing his butt off. And they're playing with a physicality very similar to Detroit. And then the Cowboys, they lost Trayvon. I think that's going to hurt them big time. I think that showed a little bit. Um, Regardless, you had Zach Martin, Tyron Smith out. You can't lose that game. You can't lose that game. You're
Can't.
up 2 and blowing everybody out. You can't lose to a team with that kind of personnel.
Yeah.
You just can't do it. Um, and then the last thing I'll say to my hometown Texans, um, it looks like we got our guy. CJ is balling. The fact that we went into Jacksonville and won that game, I loved it. I didn't think we were going to win. Kickoff return touchdown. Will Anderson blocked the field goal. And then, I mean, CJ is 4 starting offensive linemen out as a rookie quarterback, and he does not have a bona fide Pro Bowl receiver on his team. Some guys, maybe younger guys, could evolve to that, but I mean, you look at what he's doing and the circumstances, what he's doing with, it's very impressive. And it gives me a lot of optimistic views in the future for CJ, Will, and then just D'Amico Ryan's at the helm. I think future's looking good. And I think we definitely got the right quarterback that fell with us at 2. Um, and I'm excited to see what we can do with our starters back. I don't think we're going to win the division, but I do think we will be in competitive games and have chances at the end to win it. And whether or not that happens, we could win 7, 8 games maybe. Um, Keeping expectations low, but definitely going into every game with a mindset of saying if we do certain things, we will have a chance to win. Haven't been able to say that last couple of years, so that's exciting. Um, Future's looking bright. I'm here for it.
You know what, man? I agree. I do agree. I'm disappointed in Jacksonville, and I let that be known on the last episode. So I'm not gonna go really too deep into that. But you're right, CJ Stroud, man, he is the future, right? I think he's that next great quarterback that is blossoming before our eyes, right? Going into the season, I said he's in a bad situation, but it's gonna work out for him because you have no elite receivers, right? There is nobody you can just throw it up to and say, "Go make a play," which means you gotta make your reads. You gotta really go through your progressions. You gotta really know this playbook, right, to get the ball to your playmakers. And I
Yep.
think that's going to help him in the long run because eventually you're going to have an elite receiver. Eventually, right? And one of these receivers, like a Tank Dell, right? Or maybe even Nico Collins, might end up turning into an elite receiver. So I think the future is bright for Houston. And you already know how I feel about Will Anderson, right? Um, so that's one thing about the Cowboys, real quick. You started off by giving the Cardinals credit. You made me nervous. I thought you was trying to give the Dallas Cowboys a little, a little pass for what happened, but then you ended with you can't lose to that team.
No.
Right now, and I 100% agree. Like after the first 2 weeks, what was you hearing all over social media? What was you hearing in the media? Right,
Yep.
this is it. This is the team. This is a Super Bowl winning team. Right, you can't go and lose to that team.
No.
Okay, the Cardinals going into the season, we had them at the bottom of the pyramid. We had them trying to get Caleb Williams next year because they're just not a good. You can't name 5 players. Maybe you and me can, right? But you can't really name 5 players on that team. You just can't do it. Other than Buda Baker, who is the elite star on that team?
Yep.
Nobody, right? And you can't if you are the Super Bowl favorite or Super Bowl contender, you can't go in there and lose like that, right? I think Dak Prescott was hiding behind the defense the first 2 weeks, and then the week they needed him to put points on the board, he couldn't do it. Right. So and what happened? The interception in the end zone, Logan, that was awful. That was terrible. Logan, I I watched you for what 3 years, and
Yep.
I've never seen you throw an interception that bad ever. Like the guy was standing right in front, and he's wearing red.
Yeah.
Right? Isn't red that color that's supposed to like pop out first whenever you look? You know what I'm saying? Like you threw it right to him. You did what you was doing last year. Red zone efficiency is terrible. They get in the red zone, they can't score touchdowns. Like this to me is a bad sign moving forward. Because some people are gonna try and dress it up and say, you know what, it happens, right? Good teams lose to bad teams, it happens, but not like that, right? You don't let an Arizona Cardinal team get over 200 rushing yards on you,
Yeah.
right? You don't let the Arizona Cardinals team basically shut down your offense to a degree. With once again, I can't name any players on that defense because Buda Baker didn't even play. He didn't
No.
play,
No.
right? Like that is bad, and it's a bad sign. One more thing, it's a bad sign because they beat them running the ball. The top two teams in the NFC, what do they do?
Stop the run.
They boom. You talking about the Eagles and the 49ers. They gonna run the ball down your throat. If you're gonna let James Conner do that to you,
Yeah.
like that to me is bigger than what people are making out to be. People are basically saying it's okay. It's cool. They dropped one, they got two, they got overhyped, and then they lost in a trap game. A trap game. No. This to me is a bad sign for things to come in the future. And you played the 49ers week 5, I believe, on Sunday Night Football. So next week. All right,
Yeah.
so good luck with that.
Yeah.
And then the Miami Dolphins thing, I want I I keep telling people to kind of calm down with Miami, but when you put up 70, you can't help but draw attention. You can't
Definitely.
help but get people to say, okay, they're dangerous, and I
Yeah.
don't blame you for it. Right? You put up 70 points against an NFL team.
They dropped 70 without Jalen Waddle.
Boom, Waddle didn't even play. Right, and they dropped 70 points. Like you said, they put the backups in, and they're still launching down the field, scoring on the Broncos starting defense. And I don't know what's wrong with the Broncos because for the past 2 years they had like a top 10 defense. And this year, I don't see that, and the defense looks bad. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not
Real.
it's not even just it's not Russ' fault this year. Like last year, you can point at Hackett and Russ. This year, you can point at the whole operation. You know what I'm saying? So that situation is bad. But we'll go ahead and move on to actually we're gonna do your top 5 teams after this. Speaking of Broncos, we're gonna do this next. I told you I'm gonna give you a chance to revive a team that I kind of have written off for
Okay.
this year. Now I've been the king of saying once again, don't overreact. But these teams, I feel like they're just done. All right, and I'm gonna give you a chance to revive them. I think I know who you're gonna revive, but hear me out first. I got the Broncos. I think they're done. Okay, you let somebody score 70 on you. I just don't see you bouncing back from that. All right, the Bears, I think you're done. Justin Fields, you taking a step back. The organization that's taking a step back. Okay, when we
Yep.
thought they were going to take a step forward. The Cardinals, once again, they're playing hard football right now, but I don't think they have enough to compete, to really compete this year. Right, so I think they're really looking forward to 2024. The Jets, you see, I think you see enough of Zach Wilson. Like you can't win with that. You just can't do
No.
it. So you're looking forward to A Rod coming back. And then remember last week I put the Browns in this list because of Nick Chubb. But I feel like you're gonna try and revive this team because of what you just saw against Tennessee. So out of those teams, the Broncos, Bears, Cardinals, Jets, and Browns, who do you want to revive and say they still
Browns.
got a chance this year? The Browns, of course. And tell me why.
You have a top tier offensive line, and the way their defense is playing right now, it looks like they have a top 5 defense. And they signed Kareem Hunt. Jerome Ford looked good. Deshaun Watson looks like he's slowly improving. You still have Amari Cooper, David Njoku, Elijah Moore, um, Kevin Stefanski. They will have a chance, regardless of everything offensively. The way that defense is playing, they will have a chance to win every game. Um, and with that, you have a top 5 offensive line. If not top 5, you can lock in for sure top 10, top tier offensive line. And then you signed Kareem Hunt. His legs will come through. Jerome Ford looked good. Watson's improved. And you still have a number 1 receiver in Amari Cooper, and then a reliable number 2 in Elijah Moore, and then Donovan people. I mean, they got dudes. Um, that division's tough, but it is way too early to say the Browns are just done. Um, with Nick Chubb, they ran through Nick Chubb. I think their offense will have to come get a little bit fluid and balance the pass with the run and set up both with each other instead of pretty much we're going to run Nick until you stop it, um, which could benefit Deshaun Watson's progress, to make him look more like he did in Houston, to where he's not throwing the ball only 18 times a game, to where he's actually throwing the ball a little bit more, maybe could get in a rhythm. So I think it could help Watson get back to his old self. But yeah, the Browns are good. That defense, man, is lights out right now. Jim Schwartz has them flying to the ball, and I think they're head and shoulders better than any team that was on that list, so it's definitely got to be Cleveland.
Yeah, and even when I wrote this list down for the previous episode, I put a question mark beside the Browns because I wrote them off after Nick Chubb got hurt. But the thing is, man, if this defense can continue to play at this level, right? I don't think we've seen a Browns defense play a full year like this, right? So it's gonna be interesting to see how it continues. Um, Deshaun went 27 for 33, 289 and two touchdowns. If the main reason why I wrote them off was yes, Nick Chubb got hurt, but I don't see Deshaun being Houston Deshaun again. I just don't see it happening. But if he can be half of Houston Deshaun, then this team will have a chance.
Oh
So
yeah.
I'm starting to regret putting them on this list. But if he can put up these numbers on a weekly basis, then they're going to be a scary team. Not necessarily saying because the AFC is so deep, not necessarily saying they're going to make the playoffs or, you know what I'm saying? But they're going to be in that playoff picture. They're going to be in the hunt if Deshaun can keep this up and if the defense can play the way they've been playing. But then again, I look at Tennessee and was it more? This is the question I have for you. Was it more Browns defense or was it more Tennessee offensive struggles?
I definitely think there's Tennessee struggles, but I mean, kind of like we saw tonight with that Lions offense and how they just came in and punched them in the mouth.
Yeah.
I think I think Cleveland's just going in there and playing bully ball, and I think that just demoralized Tennessee. And I mean, everyone knows the recipe to Tennessee: you stop the run, you're most likely going to win the game. And but they still have Greg Newsome and Denzel Ward on the outside with a couple good safeties with John Johnson and Delpit. Like this Browns defense is built very well.
Mm. And don't and they didn't just stop the run. They abused Derrick Henry. The reason and I picked the Titans in that game because I just thought eventually Derrick Henry is going to get loose. He's going to have that game where we all say, "Oh, there go King Henry," right? And I thought it could happen this week. He had 11 carries for 20 yards. Like that should never happen.
No.
You know? So yes, that is a compliment to the Browns defense being able to stop the run like that. Because without Derrick Henry, like you said, Tennessee is nothing. Right? He is what runs their offense, even with the addition of D Hop. If you don't have Derrick Henry going, what you can't do much. Because Ryan Tannehill is not elite. So he needs to rely on that run game. So yeah, if Deshaun can continue to play like that and the defense can continue to play like that, then they'll have a shot to get into the playoffs. So yeah, I definitely had a question mark beside them when I wrote this list. But let's go ahead and follow that with your current top 5 teams. Let's see how that list changed.
Okay, so not too much change, but a little bit. We got to swap at number 5. At number 5, I'm going to go Buffalo Bills. I think they had a bad week 1. That game was all sorts of up and down roller coaster.
Yeah.
That defense came to play. I don't think the Commanders have a good line, but I mean, people forget Von Miller's coming back soon.
Mm-hmm.
As long as Sean McDermott's there with that defense and they stay healthy, they have dudes on defense. And then yes, Josh Allen turns the ball over, but I mean, it's still Josh Allen. It's just like the whole like Brett Favre back in the day. You know, with Brett Favre, you have a chance to win any game. Yes, he's going to get you in a hole sometimes, but that same guy's got the capability to bring you right back out of it.
Yeah, it's
Um,
worth the risk. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
The
got two,
reward is way higher than the risk. Yeah.
exactly, and he can run with the best of them too with his legs. You got 2 good tight ends. You got a good running back room, good receiving core, good defense. Once Vaughn gets added there, they're going to be scary. At number 4, I moved them down a little bit. I got the Eagles. Um, they're 3-0. They're looking good. It's not smooth offensively. Um,
Yeah. Gotcha.
defense worried about their secondary. I think Minnesota kind of picked them apart pretty easily without really a line to protect Kurt. So I'm a little worried about secondary. Basically up the middle with their linebacking play and safety play. I mean, if they can run the ball against anyone, that pass rush is legit. But the offense hasn't looked smooth yet. At number 3, I got Kansas City. Again, that defense, the Bears are awful, but I'm high on their defense. I think they're looking good. They're showing out, and that offense with Taylor Swift in the stands, that offense is still good. Kelsey and Pat Mahomes. Like they'll be fine. Like I said, I mean, I hate when people overreacted week one or said they
Yeah,
might be there. They're gonna be fine. Andy Reid, Travis Kelsey, Mahomes stood. They're gonna be fine. And number two, I got Miami going all the way to number two. They're playing good defense, and it's the way they're scoring. It is effortless. It is. McDaniel's looking at that play sheet and saying, "All right, who else needs to score a touchdown? All right, let's run this. He'll
yeah,
score effortless."
yeah,
Uh, Interested to see how that plays later in the year once it gets to cold weather in the games where you're not going to be able to throw the ball. Because I mean, right now, if you're playing a Super Bowl in a dome and you're playing healthy against healthy, and they got Ramsey back, yeah, I mean they can beat anybody. They really can because they can score with the if the situation's perfect and they got everybody healthy and they're in a dome with the perfect like situation, they can beat anybody because they can throw for 500 yards and they can sack you 8 times and then they have enough good secondary players to make play. I mean they're scary. And number one, I got San Francisco. Don't think at any point in any game they played this year that they actually thought they would lose. But another thing that impresses me about San Francisco, probably everyone thought they were going to be arguably the best team in the league. And instead of coming out and saying, "Oh, we're just gonna beat these guys," we don't gotta. They punch you in the mouth.
hmm
Like they want to beat you ugly, and not necessarily score wise. Like physicality. They I think out of any team in the league, they strike the most fear in everybody. Because regardless, you know you're going to get beat up after the game, whether you win or not. You know you're going to walk out of that tunnel and you're going to say, "Man, I'm glad that game's over." And
yeah,
I think Brock Purdy, he struggled a little bit. That running game, that defense, they're terrifying to play, and they strike fear in people's eyes.
fear, and I like that five. The Eagles, real quick, at number four. My thing is the offense doesn't look smooth at all. Like they have spurts where you're like, you're scratching your head, and then they also show you spurts where they're like, okay, they figured it out. But it's a little inconsistent. It's like a roller coaster, up and down. And the fact that they're still 3-0, still dominating games, that's what scares. That gives me that hope. You know what I'm saying? Because you picked the 49ers to win the conference,
Yep.
and they look great. They look perfect, no doubt about it. But the fact that my pick, the Eagles, is looking a little shaky, but still getting the job done, I know they're gonna be better by week 15, by week 16. I know they're gonna have it figured out by then. Remember, they got a new offensive coordinator now, so they still kind of, trying to figure things out. So that makes me more confident moving forward, right? But I can't move them over any of those teams. Actually, you had the Chiefs at 3, didn't you?
Yeah, you can argue Kansas City, but
Yeah,
I think
I'd like to say that. Yeah,
week one they still almost won, and they didn't have Travis Kelsey and Chris Jones.
boom. Yeah,
And
so that's an argument for them right there. Yeah,
the way they beat Jacksonville, and then the Chiefs, or not the Chiefs, the Bears game, I think that was just a confidence booster.
yeah,
Like you,
a statement game.
yeah. I mean, um, yeah, because I think that defense with Chris Jones, and then obviously that offense. That's
And
why I got that. I mean, if the Eagles were out here, um, score and kind of how they started last year off, I'd probably have them in front of Kansas City just because of they are 3-0, they're undefeated.
yeah, yeah,
Beck's still there, but it's just like it had, and even defensively, they've been able to get after guys like with subpar offensive lines. But I mean, it just still it's not. Yes, I mean it doesn't have to be pretty. Like you're just trying to win the game. And I know Nick Sirianni's happy about that, but like it's not smooth. It's not fluid.
yeah,
Um, and I think that could bite them pretty early once they play a team that kind of neutralizes some of their strengths. Um, I think they'll be fine by the end of the year, but right now I got them below on the city.
yeah. And like you said, that week one losing to Detroit, barely losing to Detroit, without Chris and Travis gives them that argument for number three. But one more thing about the Eagles, that actually gives me more confidence that you said that. I'm glad you said that. That they might get punched in the mouth by somebody along the way. That's pretty good. And I think that's gonna let them know that, hey, we've been sloppy, but we're still winning games. And then once they get punched in the mouth, they're gonna say, okay, we really need to fix this mess and get back to how we looked last year. And then that's when they really gonna flip that switch. So I'm glad you brought that up because that gives me a little more hope for them to turn this thing around. Like you said, it's sloppy, but it's working. And one thing,
Yep.
man, Jalen Carter fall into the Eagles, man. I'm watching this every week and I'm like, how? How? Like, how did they get him? You know what I'm saying? Like, he should have been off the board because this is a star in them. Like, he's emerging to be a star. I think him and Will Anderson are going to be that. And once again, I'm not saying they're going to be these players, but the next like Von Miller, Aaron Donald. You know what I'm saying? Not necessarily to that degree, but they're gonna have that elite kind of skill set, if that makes sense. So I think that the Eagles stole him for sure, and I think teams are really going to regret that moving forward. But that's Logan's current top five teams. He had the Bills, the Eagles, the Chiefs, the Dolphins, and the 49ers in that order. Not bad. I can't argue with it. All right, we're back. Had a couple technical difficulties, but what I was saying was the Jets. Okay, I picked them to go to the Super Bowl. Can I get an olive branch? Can I get an opportunity to change that pick? I feel like you haven't even reached out to me and said, you know what? I know what happened to your Jets. You can get another chance. Can I get that?
I mean, fine, sure.
Sure. It's a catastrophic injury. You should be like for sure. You know what I'm saying, Jay Best. You deserve to pick another team because that season's
Well,
over.
I mean, it's different week 4 picking a team to win the Super Bowl than it is to week 1. Because if that's the case, then I obviously wouldn't pick the Bengals to go all the way to the Super Bowl this year.
That's different. The Bengals have well, yes, Joe Burrow has a nagging injury, but you get what I'm saying. Okay, the Jets season is done. It's over with. But you know it's cool. I picked the Eagles to win it all anyways, and they're going to win it all. So I'm gonna get a Super Bowl champ right. That's cool. Since you want to be like that. And guys, I hope
Mm.
you see this is how Logan treats me on camera and off camera. I just hope y'all see that. All right. But let's go ahead and get into our picks. My favorite part of the show. Um, look, Logan, I'm starting to creep up on you. I hope you know that. I'm starting to you're not as comfortable as you used to be, buddy. As of right now, Logan, you are sitting at give me 1 second. Boom, you're sitting at 35 and 14, but it's 36 and 13, right? Because it would happen week one, remember
Yep.
with the Chiefs and everything. And I'm sitting at 30 and 19. So I'm starting to creep up on you, okay? So don't get too comfortable. I need you to start picking it up and get it together because I'm coming.
We're fine.
Okay, sure you are. Sure you are.
We're
But let's see if you can continue to keep the lead after this week. The first London game of the year, and I know y'all heard that it's the Toy Story themed game going on. I'm excited for that for real, for real. I am excited for that. Toy Story is one of my favorite cartoon movies of all time, hands down, no questions asked. So I'm very excited to see that. But Atlanta at Jacksonville, who you got?
I got Jacksonville. I think they're going to come in. Well, first, any any game they play in London, I feel like they play more than anybody over there. They normally have a pretty good crowd. It's almost like a home game, a little
Yeah,
bit. Um, the Falcons got beat pretty bad, but I don't think anyone saw the Jags winning or losing that game, especially the way they did. I think they're going to come in fired up, and I think they're going to take this one.
boom. I'm glad you brought that up. I had a segment on the last show called "Wake Up Call." And I gave the Jaguars, like, hey, y'all need to wake up. Okay,
Yep.
this is not looking right. Yes, you played the Chiefs defense that is pretty good, right? But 9 points is unacceptable. With that offense, is unacceptable. I expect you to lose in shootouts. Don't lose in games because you're getting shut down. And
Yep.
then it goes against the Texans and lose the way you did. You didn't lose like by last second field goal. You know what I'm saying? Lost the Texans by more than 10, by more than 2 possessions. Okay, they can't happen. I think it's a bounce back game, a get right game. This is
Yep.
a must win right here. You got
Yep.
to. 1-3 is not acceptable.
No.
It's not. So I got Jacksonville winning this game. And this game might be the game of the day, game of the week. I'm sorry. The Dolphins and the Bills. The Dolphins at Buffalo. Who you got?
Yeah, I know I had the Dolphins at number 2, but I think Buffalo wins this one. I think that defense is going to be fired up. I think they're going to be ready for the challenge, and I think this is going to be the game to where we see Josh Allen have a Josh Allen game, and everyone starts saying again, all right, if he keeps this up, he's going to have a chance to win MVP.
Yeah.
I think this is one of those games where they get fired up in Buffalo. Everyone's going to be picking Miami. Buffalo knows that. that place is going to be chaotic. We'll see how I think Miami's to be the first adversity test for Miami this year. Um, I think Buffalo just finds a way. Um, I don't really have a way to describe it. I just think Buffalo ends up making more plays at the end of the game, and I think they take this one.
Yep, just like I picked the Jaguars for a statement game, I'm picking Buffalo for a statement game. Coming into the year, the Jets were crowned division winners. Okay, we basically forgot about what y'all did the past couple years. Aaron Rodgers came in town, right, and we crowned the Jets for this division, right? Hey, I did it, and if we can start all over again, I'll do it again, right? I didn't expect to get hurt week one. Another conversation for another day. But now Miami is being crowned division winner. Miami's being almost crowned the league winner, right?
Yeah.
Because everybody's on this Miami train. This is a perfect opportunity for Buffalo to punch them in the mouth and say, hey, we've owned y'all for the past couple years. This is still our division, right? We can get this done. I got the Bills in a home game, a big win against the red hot Miami Dolphins. Next, we got the Booty Bowl. Okay, the Booty Bowl. These are two high school teams that are going against each other. Logan, we got the Broncos and the Bears.
Yeah, I got the Broncos winning this one. I think the Bears just flat out they've looked bad on both sides, and at least I know the Broncos offense has looked somewhat good. Um, I mean, I wouldn't want to watch this game.
I'm not gonna watch this game.
Um, don't want to, but I think the Broncos have the edge offensively a little bit. I think the Bears are just bad. I think this could be the game where Justin Fields puts up video game numbers and everyone's like, this is what I thought he won MVP, but uh, I got the Broncos winning this one. I think Sean Payton wins this game. I think Russ still plays good. Judy's coming a little healthier. Yeah, this is not an exciting game.
Yeah, this is we have a lot of statement games going on, Logan. This is another statement game. This is to see who is not the worst team in the NFL right now.
That is true.
That's what this is, right? So there's no way a team led by Sean Payton and Russ can be the worst team. Like, you would think that, right? There's no way. So you're going against the second worst team. Well, the worst team in the league, right? Right now you're the second worst. They're the worst. Come on now, you just win the game. Okay, I know even though it's in Chicago, just win the game. Okay,
Yep.
the Bears are just not good. Go win the game, Denver. We have a divisional matchup between the Ravens and the Browns in Cleveland. Who you got?
Yeah, I keep going back and forth on this one, and honestly, I think this is a coin toss game, and like, I can see both, but I'm gonna go Cleveland here. Baltimore's banged up pretty good. They got a buttload of injuries. I think Cleveland's playing good. That defense playing hot. Um, I got Cleveland winning this one. I think it's going to be a good AFC North classic, kind of low scoring game. Whoever's got the ball last is either going to get the first down they need or score the field goal or touchdown that they need. I don't think this is going to be um, high scoring. I don't think if whoever wins is going to be far apart. I think it's going to be a close run the ball, play good defense kind of game. Don't turn the ball over. I got Cleveland.
Yep, and it's crazy. We got the same pick so far. I'm going with Cleveland as well. Baltimore. I watched that game against the Colts last week, and they ain't look too good. They just didn't. Right. The Colts are another one of those teams where they just don't have enough right now. They're trying to build around Anthony Richardson, right? So the future is brighter than the present. And he didn't even play that game. Gardner Minshew started that game. Gardner Minshew actually stepped out of the back of the end zone, right, and got a safety. I think the Ravens went up 3, and then they still managed to get back into that game and take it to overtime. Like, to me, that's too many red flags for Baltimore. And throughout that game, I saw the inaccuracy of Lamar Jackson rise up again. Right, he missed a couple of open passes in the fourth quarter and overtime that could have kept drives going. He just didn't hit them. All right, so to me, that just doesn't give me a lot to be happy about with that team. So I got to go with the Browns coming off of a win where they said, okay, Nick Chubb's hurt, but we still got Deshaun. You know what I'm saying? Or Deshaun just stepping up and saying, hey, Nick Chubb might be hurt, but I'm still at least half of what I used to be. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? So I'm gonna go with the Browns as well. The Bengals and the Titans in Tennessee. Who you got?
I got the Bengals winning. I'm not pleasant. I don't like what I see in Tennessee right now, and then I don't. Joe's banged up, but I don't see how they can match up against the Bengals offensively. The Bengals do have a pretty good run defense. They have a respectable defense, and I think this is going to be the game where Joe Burrow puts up video game numbers. I think Jamar, T. Higgins, Joe Mixon, Tyler Boyd, if you got any of those guys in your fantasy team, start them. I think this game, I hate saying that it's going to get ugly because they still have Mike Vrabel, but I mean, I don't know how they stop Cincinnati. If I were to take a guess, they are going to blitz the entire game and try and see how healthy Joe Burrow's leg is. Um, and if Joe Burrow's protected, they're going to put up a ton of points. If not, I still think they find a way to win because I don't like what I see offensively in Tennessee. I got Cincinnati winning this one.
Yeah, and I feel you. Eventually, this offense is going to break through, and we're going to see the offensive old with Jamar because he started to connect with Jamar Chase on that Monday night game against the Rams. They started to get that rapport back. But I'm gonna roll the dice on this one. Okay, I am waiting for Derrick Henry to get loose. It's just something about watching Derrick Henry taking over a game, right? I just love seeing. I miss the Derrick Henry averaging almost 100 yards a game. I miss it. I want to see it so bad, and I feel like that's the only way you can beat this team is to keep the offense off the field, and for Derrick Henry to put up those video game numbers.
Yep.
I keep every week I pick the Titans because I keep saying, okay, Derrick Henry's going to get loose, bruh. Please, can y'all block for this man? Let him get loose. Let us see the king on the throne once more. I'm gonna roll the dice on this one and take Tennessee at home over the Bengals. All right. Next, we got the Rams at the Colts. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm rolling the dice on this one. I'm going to go Indy. I think Anthony Richardson's playing this game. I think this might be the game um, the Rams' defensive talent gets exposed a little bit. I think
Mm-hmm.
I saw Shane Steichen use Anthony Richardson before he got hurt in Houston, and then even week one. They're using the full width of the field. Obviously, Aaron Donald, that dude's who was somehow outside your top 10 to begin the year. He still plays. I think if Anthony Richardson plays this game, I think the Rams front seven wise have enough talent to be able to limit the Rams and get them in obvious passing downs and to be able to get pressure on that O line. Yeah, I'm gonna roll the dice with this one. I'm gonna pick Indy.
You know, in the beginning of this we was doing our picks. I talked about how the Falcons are doing the Toy Story game, right? And speaking of Disney, right? Disney Pixar, however you want to say it. In the Lion King, I remember Rafiki, right? The monkey. He said that whatever's in the past, you can't do anything about it, right? So quit bringing up, quit bringing up the fact
Uh,
that I didn't have Aaron Donald in the top 10. Okay. All right, y'all. Look, I'm a Disney fan. All right, so I'll pull out Disney quotes all day if I have to. All right, but this game, um, I need Puka to go stupid. All right, he kind of had a average game last week. He didn't put those numbers like he had the first 2 weeks. Right, Puka Nakua, I need him not just for this pick, but for my fantasy team. Please, Puka, I need you to get about 15 catches and do your thing. I think the Rams got punched in the mouth last week. If you saw that O line couldn't block a soul. Okay, the Bengals was all over him. I'm expecting a bounce back week. I'm gonna take the Rams to bounce back because they're not a bad team, right? And 1-3 on this team wouldn't feel right the way they've been playing. Like even though the O line was getting beat up last week, they were still in that game, and they was still, you know what I'm saying. So they can compete with the best of them. So 1-3 just doesn't look right. I'm gonna go with the Rams in this one. Next, we got another divisional matchup between the Buccaneers and the Saints. No Derek Carr. Who you got?
and that's why I'm going with Tampa Bay. I think Tampa Bay gets James to turn the ball over a little bit. Tampa Bay's playing a lot better than anybody expected, more than I
Yeah,
expected.
yeah,
Um, their defense is looking like how they did when they won the Super Bowl, and Baker Mayfield, for the most part, when he's had his feet set, he's been able to look like how he did when he took Cleveland to the playoffs and won a playoff game. Um, they're looking good. Now, I don't think their ceiling's that high, but I think the way that they're built and the way that they play on both sides, they will be in a lot of games because even though Philly dominated that game in the second half, there was a couple plays that could have went there and there to where the Bucks easily could have a chance to win. Don't think it's going to happen,
yeah.
but they gave themselves a chance to win, and I think that defense is going to get after um, New Orleans. Alvin Kamara's coming back, but I mean they got so much speed. The linebacker position, I don't think that's going to mean much. And then James Winston playing his old team, I think Todd Bowles is going to blitz the crap out of him and make James Winston beat him. And I think
Yeah.
if that live with it, but I got Tampa Bay winning this.
Yeah, so convincing. You almost pulled me over to Tampa side. Right. I love everything you said, but I'm gonna go with New Orleans at home. I think last week they gave the game away. Right, it was up like 17-0, something like that in the fourth quarter. They let that game go. I think this is a bounce back week against a team. Once again, Buccaneers are playing great, like you said. They're playing pretty good, way better than we expected.
Yep.
Right, but it's Baker versus Jameis, and I'm gonna go with Jameis. Right, I know, I understand. Baker might be better than Jameis, might be, but I think at home in New Orleans, I'm gonna take Jameis. If it was in Tampa, I would take Tampa. I think this is really who's at home. I'm gonna go with New Orleans. All right, next we got the Commanders and the Eagles. Go ahead and pick. Sam Howell been looking pretty good, huh?
Okay, he has. He's got no O line, but he struggled last week. But the first two games, he looked good. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
say he's got his thing out of coming out of college. He had a bad his last year wasn't that great, but the year before that, I think he was projected first round. I mean, he's got first round arm talent. Um,
Mm-hmm.
they probably have the worst offensive line in the league, and they're going against the Eagles. I think Commanders fans should just be happy Sam Howell doesn't get hurt this game. And many hits, he's gonna seriously like they should. That's if it gets ugly, they need to pull him because it's
Yeah.
going to get up. Um, I got the Eagles big. I don't. That O line's not going to be a good O line can't protect the Eagles, and now they're playing a bad O line. It's gonna be rough.
Yep. Let's just hope he walks out of the stadium the same way he walked in. Like you said, if you get ugly, please pull him out because I think the Eagles are gonna just dominate this matchup. Um, I need to see the Eagles play a great game from start to finish. I need to see it. I want to see it. Okay. Hopefully it doesn't end up being they play a good team, get punched in the mouth, and they get it together. No,
Yep.
you're playing the Commanders are not a bad team, but compared to y'all, they're a bad team,
Yep.
right? So go in there. The only hope that the Commanders have is that front four, right? Getting to Jalen Hurts, but that O line for the Eagles is pretty good. So keep Jalen Hurts upright, and I think y'all win this game with ease. All right. Next we got the Vikings and the Panthers. Is this an Adam Thielen revenge game?
No, I got Minnesota. Minnesota's 0-3, but they've been close in almost every game they played. I don't see them starting 0-4. I think Carolina doesn't look good offensively, really. Their O line's not good. Bryce Young's not playing. Um, I, I think this just has to attest to I don't know. I don't see them stopping Minnesota offensively, and I think Brian Flores could get a couple turnovers, and I got Minnesota win this one.
Yep, same. Minnesota, just get a win, man. You've been losing close games, right? Brandon Staley handed y'all the game on a silver platter last week, and you couldn't get the job done. All right, this week, just win a game because y'all are not that bad. Like
No,
you're just not. You're not. You know what I'm saying? The defense might not be that good, but offensively, you have enough to be able to win games. All right, so just we get a win. All right, and then we we have the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Houston Texans. Fun fact for you, I will be at that game. All right, so I'm gonna be able to see this game up close and personal. Logan, who you got?
Steelers.
Oh, well, but I thought CJ played so well last week against Jacksonville and Tank Dell emerged. And come on now, what you doing?
Yeah, he's still got four starting offensive linemen out, and I don't think Jacksonville has any type of pass rush. So I don't. As much as I want to say the Texans to win this game just because of your show and you being here, I can't. I can't logically see a way. The only way we win is if we win the turnover battle and our defense turns over Kenny Pickett.
Agreed.
Be back. I don't think Denzel Perryman will be back. Stingley's still not playing. Because that I feel our defense has played well enough to where I'm not scared about y'all's offense. But
You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be.
I don't see how we can protect y'all's front seven at all. Um, and we can't run the ball because our line, like we got 4 starting offensive linemen out, and we're not gonna be able to protect. So I don't think we're gonna win this one.
Yeah. Logan, I like CJ Stroud, right? And like with the Sam Howell situation, let's just pray that he walks out of here the same way he walked in. You know what I'm saying? Because I got this. So remember when you saw me at the Elodia tournament, right? And remember the guy I coach with, Coach PJ. All three of us were talking about sports, right? He actually was texting me yesterday, and he kept saying, "We not worried about Lil JJ over there." He called TJ Lil JJ. He did that, right? And then he had the nerve to call TJ. He called him Trent. Okay, that's his name is Trent. Okay, if you did not know, he had the nerve. He is disrespecting the best edge rusher in the league. You're just asking for it. Okay, so I made a call to TJ Watt. I said, "Look, bro, don't take it easy. It's your older brother's Ring of Honor game, right? You don't get that Ring of Honor ceremony. Wreck it. Okay, wreck the whole thing. I'm gonna be there. Show me, show the world why you are the best defensive player in the league and why you will win Defensive Player of the Year." So, Coach PJ, a shout out to you. You messed up. You done poked the bear, and guess what? Bears don't like being poked. All right, so Logan, I'm sorry you got to suffer for what your fellow Texan fan did. All right, you called that man Trent, called him little JJ. Are you serious?
Yeah, it's yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, I
I,
don't know what he's doing either.
y'all have a whole lot more to lose than we do.
Oh, no doubt.
Sit there and say this right now. Don't let us win this game. I don't think we will. Don't let it happen.
Let me tell you
It
something,
will.
Logan. If y'all win this game,
No,
if
just
y'all
don't let.
win this game, look, I'm being so serious right now. If y'all win this game, you can have next Friday's show by yourself. I'm not even gonna be here, okay? Because I refuse.
I want to do this with you, and I want you to
No,
sit in the room you're in right now.
let me tell y'all something, man. If we
Yep.
lose this game, and I'm there, it's not like I'm watching it on TV. I'm there. If we lose this game, I might just cancel the podcast. Honestly, like for real.
Put
Like, what the,
a little next to 2024 little list. You had all Pittsburgh on there.
you want me to do that for real? If we lose this game,
I mean, you'd have to. No.
yeah. I mean, the offense doesn't look smooth. I think the only thing I can do is hope at this point that the offense get better throughout the year because the defense is there. Okay, the defense, we're here. You know what I'm saying? We're here to hold opponents to as many as little amount of points as we can, but the offense can't keep giving the other team the ball. You know what I'm saying? Like no defense can be on the field forever. And Kenny Pickett made a couple throws last week that makes me hope that he can continue to trend in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? So, but if we lose this game, I'll add them to the list of teams looking forward to 2024. If we lose this game, like I said, it might even be a list, Logan. I might just cancel the whole freaking podcast. Let us lose this game. Let us lose this game. Let us lose. All right. So yeah, for those of y'all that's kind of slow, I got the Steelers winning that game. All right. Raiders at Chargers. Who you got?
I got the Chargers. Um, I don't like what I see in Vegas. I don't. No, not really a threat. Devontae Adams is a dog. Jacoby Myers putting up numbers. Josh Jacobs coming out kind of sluggish. I just think the Chargers are a better team, and I think they win this one.
Yeah, I think the Chargers are playing. I don't want to say catch up, right? Because 1-2 is not that far from 2-1, that which the Chiefs are, right? So I mean, not they're playing catch up though,
Yep.
all right? Because I think as a organization, you're behind. Okay, on paper, you're one thing, but what you're putting on the field is a whole different thing. All right. The one thing that you do have going for you right now is Keenan Allen. He is balling right now. I think last week he had like 18 catches,
Yeah.
right, on 20 targets. Like that's just insane. All right, so I'm expecting those numbers again because the Raiders secondary is not that good. So I think this offense needs to explode this game and kind of put this team back on the map. I don't think nobody respects them right now. Right, people
No.
see the Chargers, they're like, "Oh, same old Chargers." Brandon Staley. That's all they're thinking about right now. All right, so please just put yourself back on the map, become relevant again. I got the Chargers win this game at home. All right, we got the Patriots and the Cowgirls. I mean the Cowboys. Sorry, who you got win the game?
I got the Cowboys winning. I think they got punched in the mouth. I think they're gonna come out pretty hot. Um, I don't think they lose this game. Patriots. I think Mike is gonna have a day. I think that defense gonna fly around. I think they got punched in the mouth, and they're going to come out and try and prove something. I don't think it's going to be a lopsided score. I think the Cowboys win this one, probably 2-score game. Just New England's defense will be able to keep them in the game, but I think at the end of it, Cowboys are going to pull through late. I think they got too much talent, and Patriots just don't.
Yeah. Ezekiel Elliott coming back to AT&T Stadium. Man, wouldn't it be so nice for him to go out there and have like a 100-yard rushing game? And
I'd
then
love.
I would
I,
love it, man.
I'm here for it.
I'm
I
here
hope.
for it too.
I hope I'm wrong on this one.
I hope I'm wrong too, but for the sake of what I'm trying to accomplish here, right, to come back, right, I'm trying to I gotta go with the Cowboys. I gotta play it safe. You got embarrassed last week. You lost to the worst roster in the league. I'm not gonna say the worst team because they're playing pretty good. You lost to the worst roster in the league. You gotta make a statement. This is a statement game for you. Okay, let teams know that okay, last week was really a fluke, right? Or prove that I'm right and prove that y'all are not who the world thinks y'all are and lose this game. Like I said, I don't mind being wrong with this one. I
Yeah,
really
no.
don't. But I'm gonna take the Cowboys. All right. Next we got the Cardinals and the 49ers. Go ahead, just say it.
Niners.
Yeah, the Niners. I don't think. And respect to the Cardinals what y'all did last week. You know what I'm saying? But this is a whole different animal. This is different. You know what I'm saying? This is a different breed. You was messing with a Chihuahua last week. This week you messing with a pit bull. Okay,
Yep.
that's really how I feel about the 49ers. Okay, so you just don't have a chance. I'm sorry. The Chiefs at the Jets would have been the game of the year, but Logan just
We
put a
can.
curse on the Jets, and
That's. Mm.
I'm just going based off what you said. I got receipts. I can pull it up if you want me to. You said it. You said what can go wrong. Basically, you said the same thing about the cat. What can go wrong, what go wrong, and you saw it. I saw it too.
Well, we're gonna move on from here. I'm gonna pick the Chiefs.
Yeah, y'all. He's a little, he understands what I'm saying. That's why he wants to move on because he feels that he is responsible for the loss of Aaron Rodgers. Man, it's so sad. But I got the Chiefs win this game as well.
Mm.
2 words for you, Zach Wilson. That's why I'm picking the Chiefs.
Yep.
Seattle versus the Giants.
I got Seattle winning this one. I think they got a really good roster, and I just think matchup wise, with Saquon not playing, I think Jamal Adams might be back finally. Don't know. I don't see how the
Might,
Giants
might.
how the Giants can slow down the Seattle offense with all those weapons. So I got Seattle winning this.
Yeah, I think Seattle found their footing last week against Carolina. And I think it's gonna carry over to this week. The Giants, man, I wasn't sold on them preseason, and from what I've seen so far, I'm still not sold on. I mean, you made a great comeback against the Cardinals. You know what I'm saying? Like there's nothing to show for right there. And then last week you played arguably one of the best teams in the league, and they embarrassed y'all. You know what I'm saying? Like if you can compete and just gain their respect,
Yep.
you can still lose, but it'll be different, right? They just did what they wanted to do with y'all, and y'all showed that y'all just can't compete with the best of them. And Seattle is not one of the best, but they're in that kind of middle high pack, like that high, that high middle pack. So I got Seattle win that game as well. All right. But that is it for our picks. That is also it for today's episode, man. Look, I'm gonna tell y'all what I told y'all last week. Enjoy football. Okay, enjoy it while it's here. Make sure y'all enjoy this week. Make sure y'all tune into that Toy Story game because I might not be able to watch it, bro. I gotta go to the Texans game, the Steelers and Texans game, so I might not be able to see it. So I'm really really upset. Hopefully, because it's on Disney Plus, right? So I'm
Yep.
hoping that it'll still be there. You know what I'm saying throughout the whole entire day because I'll go back and watch it for sure. All right. But as always, man, much love. Y'all stay blessed, stay safe, enjoy this weekend, and we'll see y'all next week. We out.